Hey, hello and welcome to this new After Effects tutorial by Flomotion. Today we are going to take a look on how to create nice keyframe animations like the one I recently posted. So I'm going to show you my technique of animating those things in a very easy and simple way, but I promise you it will look very dynamic. I'm going to show you how to fine tweak animations after you have done them with a few keyframes to make them really look nice, smooth and dynamic. Hey, and if you like what you see, just subscribe to my channel, because in this case the more subscribers I get, the more tutorials I can do for you. So let's directly get started. Let's create a new composition, call this our main comp. It's 1920 by 1080. Let's make 25 frames and hit OK. Let's create a new background just so we see it better. Control Y, and let's just look out for a nice background color. Maybe this time we go into this kind of green and hit OK. And just for the sake of it, let's apply an effect and let's just type it in here. Just fine tweak it a little bit. So let's call this our BG. And now let's start with creating a shape that we want to use so that I can show you what we're going to do. So for that we just click on here. Maybe we go to the polygon tool, and by dragging it out and keeping your finger on your left mouse button, you can adjust the scaling and the rotation. And when you turn your mouse wheel while holding down, you can adjust how many edges you want to have. So let's just go with 6 edges and just let go. Maybe we just position this directly in the middle. First let's grab our anchor point, and you can do that with the pan behind tool, or you just hit Y and then you can move it. And if you don't find the exact middle, you can just click the snapping button here, and in this way it will just snap to positions. Okay, now let's just bring this directly in the middle just for the nicer organization of this, and for that we can either bring out the title action save and then we could position it, but even easier, you go to the align windows over here. And if you don't see the align window, make sure that you're on the default working space, or just go to window and click on align. So now let's position this in the middle, and there we go. Let's also give this a nicer color. I don't want to have this white stroke, so I can disable it, and for the fill I'm just clicking on the green so that I'm in the same color space than the green, and then I'm just looking for a nice color. This is kind of my workflow to it. And hit OK. So now I'm going to show you how you can apply an easy animation like rotation and position with a really organic look to it. So let's get started. Just going to the 2-second mark, hit R for rotation, make a keyframe, go forward to the next second mark and just rotate it like 90 degrees. If I'm just playing this back, and by the way I'm hitting B for begin and N for end, so that I can only watch this time span. And this is what it would look like if you would animate it with just 2 keyframes. So let's make this look a bit nicer. When you watch my animation or many animations that are out there these days, they all have the same principle. They just don't rotate in one direction. They have like a point where they go back a little bit and then let it snap, rotate, and then there's this small wiggle in the end, so that it really looks like a dynamic animation. And to do that we just work on the curves of this animation. At the moment, if we click on this graph editor button and on the rotation, you see that it's a linear animation. Back in here we can just select those, right click on them, and make them easy ease, and back in our curve we already have something a little bit smoother So let's watch this. So it starts slowly, goes a bit faster and ends slowly, but we want to push this even further. So let me bring this up so that we can see the curve better. And I want this to be really fast when it spins, but it should start really slow. So to do that, we just drag out those handles horizontally, and we do that for both sides. So you can just look at it like a very symmetrical animation. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4 of those squares here. So let's also do 4 here. And let's watch this. Already pretty nice. But as I said, we want to have the animation, and for the sake of it, maybe let's enable our stroke, make it a bit thicker. Just that we see it better. Okay, back on our rotation. Now what we want to do is we just don't want to animate from 0 degrees to 90 degrees, but we want to go in the negative values, then have our curve and go over 90 degrees. So for that we just leave our handles here, but drag them down. And I also do this very symmetrical, so let's just bring this down like 2 of those blocks and bring this one up 2. So let's play this back. And there we have it. Still just those 2 keyframes. When we turn on motion blur, this is what this will look like. Very organic. So let's quickly do the same thing for the position. We start at 4 seconds, hit P for position, go forward 1 second and just animate our position. Maybe like this, and watch this. So again, let's make those easy ease. Go to our curve editor, click on position, and now we can see that we have a small issue here because we have 1 keyframe for the position for X and Y. So we need to separate both dimensions, and that's easy to do. When you click on position, you can see this icon here, and this also is called separate dimensions. We click on it, and now we have X and Y on different keyframes. So let's just have a look at it. Of course, X is what we are going to animate, and the Y is just horizontal. So no need for keyframes there. And now let's do the same thing here as we've done before. Let's create this nice S-curve and watch it. It almost slides into position. And again, let's bring this up and just think of this dotted line, and everything that's above it is your extra wiggle movement. So let's play this back. Whoa, already looking really nice. When we watch our whole animation back now, this is what we have so far. You could now also play with the keyframes and look for a timing that you really like, maybe something like this. Or you could even try to let it happen at the same time. Wow, this is really looking nice. And I'm going to also bring this one step further in the next tutorial. So just click on the part 2 if you want to learn how to create the streaks that also follow the shape to give it this kind of a comic motion graphics look, and also the streaks that are rotating around it. And if you like what you see, just feel free to subscribe to my channel, write some comments in the links below, and I'll try to answer all your questions as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a little bit today, and now start rotating and animating.